Most people wake up in the morning and start thinking about their problems. These problems are connected to certain memories, and those memories are linked to specific people and things. Your brain is like an old tape recorder playing the same cassette over and over again every day. If your brain is a record of the past, then the moment you start your day, you are already thinking and living in the past. Each of your memories holds emotion, and emotions are the final product of past experiences. So, the moment you remember your problems, you suddenly feel unhappy, sad, and in pain. How you think and feel creates your state of being. In other words, it shapes your character. If your entire state of being when you start your day is in the past, that means your past will eventually become your future. For example, something that happened yesterday made you angry. Today, you wake up and think about it and feel angry again. If you keep doing this for 2 days, people will think you're having a bad day. If you do it for a week, people will think you're in a bad mood. If you continue long enough, anger will become part of your character, and you'll be known as someone who is always angry. As you can see, your thoughts have a lot to do with your destiny. This means that if you keep thinking about the past, you'll keep creating the same life without even realizing it, the same life that you don't even like. Before continuing, I'd like to thank all of you for everything, for every subscription, every comment, every like. You are amazing. As a way to show my gratitude, I had an idea. I didn't think it was possible to make a living from YouTube and also help you with the philosophical thoughts that helped me overcome the loss of loved ones, financial setbacks, and, most importantly, time. Therefore, as a token of my appreciation to all of you who watch the videos and take the time to comment. This is just a way to thank you for the time you dedicate to listening to me. Thank you. Now, let's continue. This is how it usually happens. You wake up and grab your cell phone, check your Instagram, look at your WhatsApp, read some emails or text messages, then look at the news. Now, you finally feel really connected to everything familiar in your life. After that, you follow a series of routine behaviors. You get out of bed on the same side, go to the bathroom, have a cup of coffee in your favorite mug, take a shower, get dressed, and take the same bus or drive to work the same way. Finally, you arrive at work and see the same people who push the same emotional buttons. When work ends, you rush back home to do the same things over again, and this becomes your routine. The routine works like a computer program. Now, you've lost your free will to a program. It's no longer you in control, but your subconscious. By the time we are 35, 95% of who we are is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, ingrained attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a program. So, you can say with your 5% conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free, but your body is being driven by a different program. You're up against your subconscious, which makes up 95% of your mind, with only your 5% conscious mind. It's like pitting an average, slim person against an Olympic weightlifter in a weightlifting competition. No wonder you can't make changes and end up reverting to the old program, creating the same life. So, how do you start making changes? You have to go beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. This is where meditation comes in. Through the practice of meditation, you can learn to change your brain waves and slow them down. When you do this correctly, you can enter the operating system where you can begin to make fundamental changes. Most people wait for a crisis, trauma, disease, or diagnosis to begin changing. The message from Dr. Joe Dispenza is this: why wait for negative things to happen? You can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Most people spend 70% of their lives living in survival mode, constantly stressed and anticipating the worst-case scenario based on past experiences. They literally choose the negative things from the infinite potential in the quantum field, selecting the worst possible outcome. This is like looking at a menu with an infinite amount of food and drink options and choosing the worst possible choice. Each time you remember the negative event, you produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event were happening again. You're sending the same emotional signals to your body. Your body, in a certain sense, is your unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference. Your body thinks the event is actually occurring at that moment. Most people constantly recreate their negative emotional states by thinking about them repeatedly. So, when it comes time to let go of that negative emotion, they might say they really want to change, but the problem is that the body is stronger than the mind. The body has been conditioned for years to the negative emotions. Once, the body was a servant to the mind. But now it has become the master. Suddenly, when you decide to change and venture into the unknown, the body doesn't like it. The body would rather feel guilt and suffering because it's familiar and predictable. Being in the unknown is a scary place for the body. Entering the unknown is like wading into a deep river. The body knows that if you manage to cross to the other side, it will die. It will do anything to stop you. That's why the moment you start meditating, suddenly your nose starts to itch, you remember an important task you had to do, or out of nowhere, a memory from 20 years ago comes to mind. This is your body saying, "Come on, give it up and let's go back to our old miserable life." The body has many tools and will use each one to stop you from entering the unknown. The unknown is the best place to create your future, and the easiest way to enter the unknown is through meditation. Once you are in a deep state of meditation, you can begin to create your future. What kind of new life do you want? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate? What kind of person do you want to be? The act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing the things or behaviors you want in your life is the best way to create your future. If you are truly present, the brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and real-life experience. Through the act of imagination, you are installing the software programs of your future life. Now, your brain is no longer a record of the past, it is a map to the future. And if you keep doing this, who knows, you might start acting like a happy person. The hardest part is teaching your body emotionally how the future will feel before it actually happens. Simply imagining it is not enough, you need to feel it emotionally in your body. If thoughts are the language of the brain, feelings are the language of the body. It is through feelings and emotions that your body understands what your mind is telling it. If you don't feel anything, it means your body is not receiving the signal. It's like the internet modem in your room is working, but you can't connect because you've turned off the Wi-Fi on your phone. The moment you start feeling the emotions of your thoughts, you are connected to the internet, and you can start downloading your future life. And you know what this means? This means you no longer need to wait for success to feel successful. You don't need to wait for wealth to feel abundant. You don't need to wait for a new relationship to feel love. According to the quantum model of reality, the moment you start feeling abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth. The moment you start feeling it, you are beginning to move toward your future. Now, this means you are becoming the creator of your future. You no longer live as a victim, saying things like, "I am this way because of this person or this experience." Unfortunately, nowadays, many people are victims of their own negative thoughts from the past. Most people don't realize this, but here's the thing about thoughts: just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Let me repeat that, just because you have a thought doesn't mean you should act on it. On average, you think between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts from the previous day. Join our Stoicist journey at Buy Me a Coffee. Support with a donation or as a member and have a voice in our community. Every coffee fuels our mission to share wisdom. Be our pillar, make a difference today. If your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, then your life isn't going to change much, because the same thought leads to the same choices, the same choice leads to the same behavior creates the same experience, and the same experience produces the same emotion. This is why it's so important to meditate, so that you can become more aware of how you think, act, and feel. The more conscious you are, the less likely an unwanted thought will slip by your awareness. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So, as you become familiar with the thoughts, behaviors, and emotions of the old self, you no longer let them influence you. Instead, you begin to think new thoughts and condition the body to a new emotional state. If you do this long enough, this new emotional state will become familiar. Creating a new self is like creating a new garden. First, you have to get rid of the weeds and rocks. Then, you need to pull out last year's plants and prepare the soil. Only after that can you start planting. Meditating works in much the same way. You're preparing the garden, and it's not an easy task. Training your body to sit and meditate is like training a wild animal or a dog. You say sit and stay here, but it runs away. So you catch it and bring it back, but of course, it runs away again, and you have to catch it and bring it back once more. The moment you start a meditation, the body says, "Hey, it's 8 a.m., and you usually check emails and get angry around this time, but here you are sitting and doing nothing. You're off schedule, what's happening? For years, we've been angry together at this hour, and suddenly you're going to change just like that?" So the body starts sending signals, basically looking for that predictable chemical state, and it doesn't care that it's a toxic state. Each time you notice what your body is doing and pay attention to the present moment, you're telling the body that it is no longer the mind and that you are the mind. And now your will is greater than the program. If you keep doing this over and over again, like a trained dog, the body will sit and obey. The moment the body surrenders, there is a release of energy. You move from particle to wave, from matter to energy, and free yourself from the chains of those emotions that keep you in the familiar past. If you do this for just 7 days, you'll start to see differences in your life. You'll begin to surprise yourself more often and avoid reverting to the old, unhappy self. Of course, you need to repeat this process long enough until your future reality becomes your present reality. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you all in advance.